Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here at the 81st Venice Film Festival. Just by way of introduction, perhaps you can kick us off with a bit of a description of Alpha for people who don't know anything about the film. What can they expect?
So Alpha is a movie about a father and son. The son has moved into the mountains after his mother is deceased, and the father is coming to visit him. And then during the film, they go up into the mountains, and you discover many things about their relationship, also in the past. And things at a certain point go horribly wrong, and they have to survive together.
And maybe you could tell us a bit about the genesis of the project for your fourth feature. You know, what was the starting point? Was it these characters? Was it the setting? Was it sort of thematic, wanting to explore this kind of father-son relationship, aspects of masculinity? Where did you begin?
I think I began with the relationship with my own father. My mom passed away, and afterwards we had a similar trip into the mountains where she was kind of removed between us as a buffer. And so a lot of old grievances came out, but eventually that turned into a lot of love. And so it was quite an intense period that we spent. And I thought there's a movie here that's maybe more universal than just the relationship between me and my dad. And then, of course, the mountains and the natural setting are a great backdrop for such an existential story.
And in terms of finding your cast, a real-life father and son, was that something that was easy to come across, or perhaps quite niche?
We sent them the script, and they really liked it. Maybe I should give the microphone to you, Gijs. You can tell a little bit about that process.
We had the script like 4 years in advance. A long time, and then I think we read it and forgot about it because we never heard it, and then it turned up again, and we auditioned apart from each other together, and we really liked it. And this is the first time we played together. I mean, we've got our own career, which is good, I think. Father and son, shouldn't be too close if you're in the same business. And I think this was the right time to face each other as father and son in our profession, to act together. So we're looking forward to. We were ready for it, and we had a great time.
And for you as well. I mean, does it bring an extra dimension to it? Do you somehow have to separate, your characters from your real life relationship? Does some of it bleed into one another?
I think it worked very well. Apart from that, it was very fun to play together, and that you get to know each other as an actor as well, instead of as your father, or you know each other so well, so you also see through somebody if he's honest or if he's just performing or something. And so we are very sharp on that. So I don't know, there was no hiding because he knows me so well, so I couldn't hide. So it was a certain honesty in it, without it being very documentary, because we are playing characters. We are not playing like ourselves. It's not based on our relationship. So it was very fun and extraordinary to on the one hand have this trust, and on the other hand, creating a more theatrical version of a father and son conflict.
And as a director, did you know straight away that these were both the right people to play the characters? And did you have it in your mind, okay, I need to bear in mind that they are related, and did that have another layer of aspect for you as well?
Yes, absolutely. I saw it in the first audition. There's just so many small, delicate nuances in the way they played that I thought, I cannot get this from two people who are not actually father and son. And then secondly, they really shared this sense of humor, which they had developed over the years. And I just love that, these little jokes and quips. And so I thought that would be amazing in the film. I wanted this humor to come into this pretty heavy story. I immediately saw that it gave a lot of extra layers. And then, of course, I had to be careful because I didn't know them in the beginning. I didn't know what their real relationship was. And so, but they were very open and very transparent. And they really came up with a lot of things from their own relationship or past that they could put into the script. on top of my relationship with my father. So I think the end film is really a sort of mix of all these elements, yeah.
And it's got such a beautiful sort of tone and texture to it, and then the real contrast of sort of like the opening of the film, and then sort of, where it sort of blows wide open towards the end. What was your approach in that sense? If what did you want it to look like aesthetically, and then also to like have this contrast between the sort of two elements of the film?
Yeah. I always thought that Mother Nature literally would be the third character in the movie. And so it's represented by the mountains, and the mountains having this verticality basically led to me thinking we should do a 4:3 screen. So not the wide screen, but more like a higher screen if you want. And also the sides pressed in, so these two characters are really pressed in together into the frame. And then me and my DOP, Douwe Henning, we studied a lot of the older movies from Antonioni, but also Ida, where basically the framing leaves a lot of space above the characters for the sky, and in our case for the mountains. So we really try to reserve that top space for the environment. So the environment and the mountains are really a character in the film, yeah.
What about for you guys? I mean, were you quite comfortable being up there in the mountains? Was this something that was totally intimidating? Was it as grueling as it looked?
I'm afraid of heights. So it was incredible. It was, like minus 15, and we had to do the scenes, and it was pretty tough. So I leaned on my son to help me get up the mountain. So that was an extra layer for me, which was nice to see that where I took care of my son when he was young, he took care of me now. It was thrilling. And of course, if you're up there minus 15 and the snow is like 6 feet deep, you can't play. You have to survive. And that's what we did, So it was thrilling. It was nice. But it was pretty tough, yeah.
Was there one standout moment where you thought, oh, do you know what? I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Yeah, I remember one scene crawling through an ice river, and that was very cold. That was very how do you say, a breathe exercise to get through it and to do it again and to do it again, and then a close up, and then go through the ice and break the ice and crawl out. It was very, like you say, it was not acting. I mean, that's actually a present you get from this script, that it's so much physically, how do you say, exhausting, that you just do it and you don't think about anything else. Yeah, a very sadistic universe of Willem van Ewijk.
And what about from your director's chair? I mean, how challenging was it to make all this work? And did you have moments, oh, maybe I'm pushing them too far, I don't want anyone to get hypothermia?
Yeah, I kind of went in it. I like my movies to be in real tough environments. So my previous movie was shot on the Atlantic Ocean, and we had a couple of boats, and it was rough. But this was next level roughness, because in snow it's really hard to move around. It's super cold. But we had just a fantastic team in Slovenia and Switzerland who basically prepared everything before we came on set. They put in like ropes and everything to keep us secure. They even sometimes made steps for the actors to go down. So we had a lot of good people helping us. But still, yeah, there were definitely several moments. Our DOP at a certain point thought he'd just walk away and look at a location from a different angle, and I gave him an ice axe just before he left, and he walked off, and we saw him just slide down the mountain towards this cliff. And fortunately he did the self-arrest and then crawled back up. But yeah, there were some moments where I thought, have I gone too far? Yeah.
In terms of what people can take away from watching it, I mean, like all these sorts of films, there's something very immediate and edge of your seat about it. But I guess beyond that kind of thrill, there are those thematic considerations we were mentioning there at the beginning about the entanglement of this father-son relationship, about sort of masculinity and the sort of the competition between them and how that manifests itself. So what do you think people might take away in that sense?
Yeah, I think I took a lot from my relationship with my dad, and I knew I wanted this to be about generational differences, and especially younger men searching for a new position in society and cultural changes surrounding gender. There's clearly a difference between the character that Gijs plays and the character that Rein plays in terms of what they find acceptable in social behavior. There's that, and then there's, who are you? Are you your parents? Are you shaped by your friends? Are you shaped by nature, nurture? So yeah, those are questions I wanted to explore with the movie.
For you guys, what would be your reflections on what the takeaways might be, and how did you reflect on the arc of your characters?
Well, it's a search for a relationship, father and son, and that search is never over. And so I'm actually quite double in it, because for me it was not only a movie, but also meeting my son in a profession. So that's beautiful. I said to Rein during the shoot, whatever this film will be, they won't take away this journey. That was the movie for me, and especially with all the talks with Jan Willem about father and son and the alpha male behavior. It was nice to explore that, to look for that side. I have it in me, but I not so much as he has it. But of course, it's in all. If you're an actor, to be narcissistic and to be coming on strong, and sometimes it's fun to develop such a thing in a movie, and to know that you're not really that person.
And for you, perhaps you did have that sort of younger generational perspective that, is there kind of a crisis of masculinity? Do people know what it means anymore? You've got like Andrew Tate on one side, and I don't know, that intergenerational conflict is definitely there, and people maybe even the younger generation than us can feel a bit lost on this point.
For some reason, because we also do a lot of theater, and there you have a lot of dialogues and you talk a lot, and so we also, during the rehearsals, we had a lot of ideas for more dialogue, and we wanted, and then it was always less and less talking, especially when it's about sensitive, vulnerable subjects, about emotions. The problem of the characters is that they don't speak out their emotions. So, and the destructiveness of that is a big topic. I think we in the personal life are more open about it and talk about vulnerable emotions. But I can imagine you are in the middle of us at the generation, and you are 15 years older than me. So you go, and your father as well.
I'm stuck in the middle.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting subject. If I think about your, how do you say?
My father.
Yeah, you and your father relationship, and then his father and him. I'm very curious about, did they ever talk about emotions, or or about their insecurities? And I think it's very interesting to reflect on that and to talk about it and create stories about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I guess finally, what does it mean to you to have the film here at Venice Film Festival? What's the experience been like presenting it here?
Yeah, well, we were just talking about it. We shot, the film set was at a certain point in the Alps, but right on the border of Slovenia and Italy. And then on a bright day, you could saw Venice in the distance. And
Saw Venice.
So then,
that's our future.
yeah, so that, I mean, it's kind of beautiful that the journey ends here, or a new chapter begins here. It's really like was meant to be or something. It's kind of it's amazing to be here. We shot the film in -15, and the premiere is in +30 degrees. So.
Yeah, it couldn't be better to be in Venice after all the sort of Italian cinema influencing kind of the cinematography of the film, and then us seeing Venice in the distance from the Alps. It's surrounded by mountains. It feels like the perfect place for the movie, yeah.
It's part of the journey, this Venice. It will go on. Now it gets a life in theater. People can see it and talk about it. So Venice is part of our journey, but a beautiful place to be, and we're very thankful.
Briefly, what have you got working, what you might be working on next? Do you think you'll collaborate again as father and son, or you think you might leave this experience?
Well, actually, we were very inspired about this subject and about playing together. So we are thinking about creating a theater play about father and son, and it's kind of the, how do you say, the seed has been planted. Yeah.
And for you in your work, have you got another feature simmering?
Yeah, definitely. No, we're going up to space. That's the next movie. So I'm developing a science fiction movie about a mother and a virtual son, or like an AI child. So that's going to be the next big project.
Amazing, very topical too. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Congratulations on the film, and really enjoy the rest of the time presenting it here in Venice. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.